I never considered myself a jealous man. Trust, after all, is the foundation of any lasting marriage, and for the past 8 years, I truly believed ours was unshakable. Jenna, my wife, was everything I admired: intelligent, driven, fiercely independent. Those qualities had drawn me to her from the start, and when she earned promotion to senior manager, I was genuinely proud. It might mean some late nights, she mentioned one evening, her voice tired as she slumped at the kitchen table. I nodded, pulling her close. I understand. You've earned this. I'll keep dinner warm whenever you're late. I meant every word, or at least I thought I did. At first, everything seemed normal. Long nights at the office became routine, followed by occasional dinner meetings that stretched into weekends as she caught up on work. When I asked about it, she brushed me off with the same tired explanation. Stress. New role, new responsibilities, she would say, her tone carrying a weariness that demanded I let it go. And for a while, I did. Then the text arrived on a late Friday night. Jenna had fallen asleep on the couch, phone still in hand. I wasn't snooping, I swear, but when the screen lit up, the words seared into me as if carved into my chest. Working dinner Sunday. Don't forget who you belong to. See you soon. My stomach sank. Who you belong to? I read it again, hoping for some misinterpretation, but the words were unmistakable, sharp, and humiliating. My mind raced. Martin. Everyone at her firm knew him. Wealthy, arrogant, confident in his entitlement. I'd met him once at a holiday party. His handshake lingered too long, his smirk too assured. He looked at women like property, and my gut told me I wasn't imagining it. That night, I shook Jenna awake, holding the phone between us. What is this? I demanded. Her eyes widened, a flicker of panic crossing her face. It's nothing, she stammered, yanking the phone away. Martin jokes like that sometimes. A joke? I laughed bitterly. Sounds like more than a joke to me. She grew defensive, just as guilty people do. I told you it's nothing. Please, just drop it. But something inside me had changed. A seed of doubt had rooted, growing faster than I could stop it. Sunday came, and Jenna left for her working dinner, promising to be home by 10. I didn't believe her. I had already made a plan. I knew where they'd be, a small, upscale Italian restaurant downtown. I even knew the private booth Martin favored, tucked behind thick curtains, which Jenna had once called his personal office, in jest. I waited until I was sure they were settled, then took Jenna's car key, put on my best suit, and stepped out. I wasn't angry. I wasn't anxious. If anything, I was eerily calm, my heart pounding steadily, methodically. The moment I entered the restaurant, the host greeted me politely. Table for one? He asked. I shook my head. I'm meeting someone. Martin Reynolds, private table. He hesitated. They requested privacy. My eyes sharpened. I'm sure they won't mind. Something in my tone ended the debate. He led me past diners, past clinking glasses and twirling forks, to the heavy curtains. Even before I stepped in, I heard them. Martin's confident, deep laughter. Jenna's softer, uncertain voice. I pushed aside the curtain. There they were. Jenna went pale immediately. Martin, mid-bite, froze, his usual smugness faltering when he recognized me. Liam. Jenna leapt to her feet, chair scraping the floor. What are you doing here? I didn't look at her. My focus was on Martin. Hope I'm not interrupting, I said, voice calm but sharp. He wiped his mouth, trying to regain composure. Well, this is a surprise. Jenna didn't mention you'd be joining. That's funny, I said, pulling out a chair and lowering myself into it. She didn't mention she belonged to you either. Jenna's voice shook as she whispered, Liam, stop. I turned to her, expression unreadable. No, not this time. Martin's forced chuckle fell flat. You've got it wrong. This is just business. I leaned forward, voice cold and deliberate. Business, huh? Funny. I don't see any contracts. No reports. Just a bottle of wine, a private booth, and a man who thinks he can take whatever he wants. His face darkened. You're out of line. I let out a short, bitter laugh. No, you are. You thought you could claim my wife, and I'd just sit back. Not a chance. Jenna's tears fell, and for a moment, my voice softened only for her. Jenna, I trusted you. I believed in you, and you let him treat you like property. She's here of her own free will. Martin interjected weakly, the confidence in his voice gone. Is that so? I smiled, slow and cold. Then maybe she liked to know the kind of man she married. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a small recorder. Jenna gasped. Martin's face turned ashen. What the hell is that? I anticipated this. I said smoothly. Everything you've said, every message. Not exactly subtle. A jury would have a field day. Jenna stared, stunned. Martin looked trapped. Here's what happens next, I said, voice steady. You transfer her to another department immediately. No calls, no messages, no contact. And if you ever cross a line, this goes public. Your wife, your reputation, everything. He muttered a defeated, fine, knowing he had no other choice. I stood, pushing my chair back deliberately. If you so much as glance at her again, you'll lose everything. I turned to Jenna, who hadn't moved, pale and trembling. We're leaving. She followed silently. The drive home was quiet, filled with the weight of our shared shame and sorrow. Once home, I finally spoke. I loved you, Jenna. I still do, but I don't know if I can come back from this. She sobbed, apologizing, begging me to understand her mistakes. I shook my head. Actions have consequences. I grabbed my bag and left, needing space to think. Martin lost his position months later, the evidence not mine alone. Jenna and I never reconciled. The divorce was painful, but ultimately, I found peace, knowing I stood up for myself, reclaimed my worth, and refused to be diminished. Revenge isn't always dramatic or cinematic. Sometimes it's quiet, measured, and deliberate. And when you take back your power, the satisfaction is unmistakable.